world's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, what's up, Vegas? It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, I know you missed us over the weekend. We're back at you. Don't worry. We're here. We're here to stay. Thanks for joining us. Chris Wynn joining us in the building as well.
What's up, Brian?
As it
What's
is a
going on?
Monday, man. We
Yes,
got
sir.
a lot to get to with what transpired over the weekend. We like to call it the Weekend Roundup. We're going to get to that a little bit later in the show. But obviously, it was Big League Weekend. A lot of other things going on. And of course, we have the Mountain West Conference basketball tournament, which actually started with the women already. The men play on Wednesday, and then UNLV plays on Thursday. So the Senior Associate Commissioner, Dan Butterly of the Mountain West, will be joining us. My question to him is, will this always stay in Las Vegas? Will this be at T-Mobile next year? I mean, these are legitimate questions that I think we deserve to know, so he'll be joining us coming up in hour number 3. This is a wild story. We all know the coronavirus is on people's minds. Now, whether you think it's more or less serious than the media is portraying it out to be, well, that's something we'll talk about in hour number 2. But one of the people, an American, who got the virus on a ship from Japan, he has now been separated from his wife. He's sitting in a bed right now. Nobody can go anywhere near him. His name is Carl Goldman. He has agreed to call into the show today. And I told some people yesterday we were having this guy on the show. In studio? Yeah, dummy, in studio. What do you think? Of course not. I don't think you could get the corona. I think
that was wishful thinking,
yeah,
right, Brian?
I don't think you could get the coronavirus on the phone. But anyway, Carl will be joining us. His story is crazy. He's been through hell, and he has the coronavirus. So he'll be joining us coming up at the bottom of the hour. But I want to start with the big news, at least the big news that took place yesterday, Chris. And that is Pete Buttigieg.
Mm-hmm.
The announcement was made. We were at a party yesterday. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yep.
But yesterday, the late afternoon hours, word broke out that Pete Buttigieg had announced that he was ending his candidacy, at least in 2020, for the presidency of the United States. My first reaction was something doesn't make sense. That was my first reaction because he's, consistently third, fourth up there. I thought he'd stick around at least till Super Tuesday. But now we're learning some information about why he may have done it. But before I get to that, I want to play you a few clips because he did speak yesterday, and he talked about why he made this decision. So this is Pete Buttigieg in his own words in a speech just a few hours after he announced that he was dropping out.
So tonight, I am making the difficult decision to suspend my campaign for the presidency. I will no longer seek to be the 2020 Democratic nominee for president, but I will do everything in my power to ensure that we have a new Democratic president come January.
I think that's fair. I think he's being honest there. Here's where it gets a little interesting, though, because he kind of takes a jab at Bernie Sanders in this speech. Have a listen to this.
With every passing day, I am more and more convinced that the only way we will defeat Trump and Trumpism is with a new politics that gathers people together. We need leadership to heal a divided nation, not drive us further apart. We need a broad-based agenda that can truly deliver for the American people, not one that gets lost in ideology. We need an approach strong enough not only to win the White House, but to hold the House, win the Senate, and send Mitch McConnell into retirement.
Yeah, he's taking jabs at Mitch McConnell, but if you can really read between the lines here, he's also taking jabs at Bernie Sanders. I don't think anybody should be surprised at that because Pete Buttigieg has really not gone after Joe Biden. He's gone after Bernie Sanders in these debates. And the idea from Pete and many of the other Democrats are we don't need somebody that's crazy lunatic left. We need somebody that's a little bit more moderate.
I don't think he's that extreme, Brian. Look, we understand what Pete Buttigieg's politics are, right, Brian? His politics are more in line with someone like Joe Biden as opposed to someone like Bernie Sanders. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, but I'm not. I cannot believe I'm actually going to agree with somebody in the Trump family now, but I actually am. And here's why. Eric Trump appeared on Fox and Friends this morning, and he was questioning Buttigieg's decision, just as I was. But his statement here, I want to play it for you, and then we're going to talk about it. This is Eric Trump on Fox and Friends this morning talking about Pete Buttigieg dropping out of the presidency.
Whose soul did he sell to do that, right? I mean, the fact that Pete Buttigieg goes on for a year, and I know how hard these campaigns are, right? We're all part of a campaign apparatus. He campaigns for a year to 36 hours before Super Tuesday drop out of the race. What was he promised by the DNC? What was he promised by Joe Biden? I mean, listen, if you're going to drop out, why not just wait that last 36 hours, see how you do in 10 different states? He was promised something.
Here's why I agree with Eric. What we're learning, and by the way, yesterday when I thought about this, my first reaction was kind of what Eric said to an extent. I said, you know what, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody promised him something. Joe Biden, I think it comes down to several different things. Now we know, let me just announce this, that Buttigieg had a conversation with Barack Obama and Joe Biden on the phone. Obviously, that phone conversation helped him make his decision to drop out. There's no question about that. Here's what I think. I think it comes down to several things. Either one of these. Either Pete Buttigieg was promised to be Joe Biden's vice president. Don't know if that's true or not. I think that's one of them. Possibly Barack Obama said that he would endorse Pete Buttigieg down the line. That could have been a promise. And/or Joe Biden promised him a position in his administration if he wins. I think they tried to persuade, well, we know that Obama and Biden wanted Pete Buttigieg's endorsement. Biden wanted his endorsement. We know that. What was he promised? Don't know. I will say this, though. For people like Amy Klobuchar, she could eat a salad with a comb 3 days a week for the rest of her life. Get the hell out of the race. The only reason why Klobuchar is in the race now is for one reason and one reason only, ego. She has a tremendous ego. I'm sick of her convulsing and shaking every single time somebody challenges her in a debate. She is not fit to even be a senator. She doesn't even know who the president of Mexico is. Get the hell out of there, Amy. You're hurting your own party. You're hurting the country. Leave. And listen, as far as Elizabeth Warren goes, I have more respect for her than I do Klobuchar, but she should get out of the race too. She has zero chance. This is down to two people, and I know people are going to disagree with me, and they're going to say Bloomberg. Bloomberg is not going to win. He is not going to be the Democratic nominee for a plethora of reasons. This is down to two people. It is down to Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. Period. End of conversation. Bloomberg is, that's it. He's done. That's what this comes down to. If you're a Democrat, get out of the way. Let these two handle this and let the best man win. That's what it boils down to. I applaud Pete Buttigieg regardless of the reasons. I think he put his ego aside and he said, okay, it's not going to happen right now. I think he's looking more down the road. He has a great future, I think, in politics. Very smart guy. Pete Buttigieg's not a dumb guy. Say whatever you want about him. He's a smart guy. So, yes, I do think he thought this was also in his best interest. I don't know if he was promised anything and what that was, but we can speculate about that, Chris. But I applaud Pete Buttigieg. I have supported him since the very early days, as you know. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, not just as a veteran who served this country honorably. He's a smart guy. And, yes, I do think it takes courage to do what he did, to be open about your sexuality in this day and age. And people say, well, this day and age, it's accepted. No, it's not. You think it's accepted in Indiana? No, it's not. Just ask our vice president how he feels about gay people in Mike Pence, Indiana, as Buttigieg puts it. So those are my thoughts on that. I think he might have been promised something. Don't know that for sure. What we do know, he had a conversation.
It's pure speculation.
Yeah, but
we don't know.
What we do know is that he had a conversation with the former President Barack
100%,
Obama. I would imagine Buttigieg, like myself, respects Barack Obama a great deal. I'm sure as a Democrat, Pete Buttigieg admires Barack Obama a lot. And look, I don't know exactly what was said in that conversation. Clearly, Joe Biden and Obama played a role in this. I think we could all agree on that.
I think what we heard there in Eric Trump's comments, by the way, which had an absolute hint of, there was some type of something that was given to Pete Buttigieg for dropping out, I think is absolutely irresponsible to just make that assumption right off the bat. Okay? Why can't we just take Pete Buttigieg at his word that it's his intention to unify the Democratic Party? It's his intention, and it should be everybody's intention that is a Democrat or that is not a Trump supporter or that is not in the GOP to get Donald Trump out of office. That is what we're talking about here. You're talking about what Pete Buttigieg could get in the future or couldn't get. He's out of the race in 2020. Make no mistake about it, Brian. Pete Buttigieg has a monstrous political future, in my opinion. He's somebody who's going to be on the radar for years to come here, particularly in 2024 and 2028. I don't think I'm out of the realm of, I don't think I'm crazy for pointing that out. But just to say that he's disingenuous, him dropping out of the race is something that I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about I'm talking about Eric Trump. And look, you said you agreed with what Eric Trump had to say.
Well, hold on
you
a second.
think there was something that was offered to Pete Buttigieg?
Hold on a second. Hold on.
You're not taking him at his word as to why he dropped out of the race?
To this extent, here's where I agree with Eric.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to believe, considering the timing of when he dropped out, along with the fact that he had a phone conversation with Barack Obama and Joe Biden. I don't think it is beyond the realm of possibility to believe that perhaps Obama and Biden promised him something. Now, I named all those things that could have been. We don't know that for sure. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to say he might have been promised something. Now, again, that could be, maybe the support of Obama down the road for Buttigieg to be president. It could have been a spot.
He could already have that.
Hold on. It could have been.
That could already be something in the mix.
It could have been a spot in Biden's cabinet. Maybe not the vice president, but maybe another position. Yeah. There's a whole wealth of things that they could have promised him. Do I know that for sure? No. But I think the timing of him not waiting until after Super Tuesday, the timing of it, along with the fact that they just had a phone conversation, leads me to believe that it is fair to assume that something Pete Buttigieg is getting out of this thing. That's all I'm saying, and I think that's a very fair opinion to have.
I think the observation of the timing can be misconstrued. And what I mean by that is this. Pete Buttigieg mentioned he wants to unify the party, right? That's the reason he's getting out before Super Tuesday, is because you don't want to siphon off votes from you don't want to siphon off delegates from the people who have an opportunity to win the election. And what I'm talking about, obviously, is Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. And to an extent, because they're still in the race, Elizabeth Warren and Michael Bloomberg. So that can be the rationale for Pete Buttigieg to be getting out before Super Tuesday. The way that Eric Trump described it was that, there had to have been some kind of offer. Joe Biden or Barack Obama had to, offer him something to basically buy him off, right? Get him out of the race.
Let me just say
because he's taking votes away from Pete Buttigieg.
While I said that it's fair to say that there could be those possibilities, he could have been promised something, it is also fair to say that Pete Buttigieg could just be doing the right things for his party.
What did I just say? That's exactly what I'm saying.
I know, and I'm saying that it is a possibility that he might have been able to put his ego aside, which I think he's more than capable of doing. He seems like a pretty decent man that would be able to do that. It could have been very possible that he said, you know what, this is a pain in the ass running for president. It doesn't look like I'm going to win. Why wait till Super Tuesday? Let's help out my friend Joe Biden. Give Biden some votes. Obviously, Buttigieg is not a Bernie Sanders guy. We know that. And maybe he just wanted to help his friend Joe Biden. Maybe he used a little bit of humility and said, listen, we want to do whatever we can do to defeat Donald Trump. I think I'm helping my party by doing this. That's very fair, and that's very possible. All I'm saying is when you're on the phone with the former president of the United States and the former vice president, they have a lot of power. Okay, they're powerful people.
Well, Barack Obama is the former president of the United States.
I understand.
Joe Biden was his vice president. They are figures in the Democratic Party.
I understand that. So you're making my point for me, and that is why I am saying it's not out of the realm of possibility to believe that they might have promised him something. And again, we've gone through this. It could be anything. It could be a position in Joe Biden's cabinet, which would be probably pretty good for Buttigieg's career. It could be the vice presidency. I don't think Biden's going to choose him as the vice president, but that's possible. And it could have been Barack Obama in 8 years saying, I'm going to support you for president one day. I'm going to endorse you, which would be huge for him. It could be any of those things, and maybe some things we're not even thinking of. The point I'm trying to make is I don't care. I think Pete Buttigieg made the right decision, regardless of whether he was promised something or not.
Yes.
I think it's going to help Joe Biden. I think at this point, Joe Biden is probably the only guy that can beat Donald Trump. It's not Bloomberg. Stop it with this nonsense. People think Bloomberg.
What are you talking, Brian? You're making that statement. The numbers don't pan that out. There's 4 Democrats right now that would beat Donald Trump in a general election.
That's your opinion. I disagree.
That's not my opinion. Those are numbers that are out there, Brian.
Well, the numbers.
Where are the numbers that support what you're saying?
Okay,
you have no numbers to support that.
Here's something
that Donald Trump beats all the Democrats.
Okay, let me respond to that.
Okay, respond.
Here's the numbers that support to what I am saying. Back in 2016,
it's not 2016 anymore.
Let me finish.
No, but you can't say 2016. It's not 2016 anymore.
Let me finish.
It's 2020, right?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Every number in every poll in 2016 said that Hillary Clinton was going to defeat Donald Trump in a landslide. I don't look at numbers. I look at logic. And logic tells me that the one person that would run against Donald Trump that would actually have a legitimate chance of beating him, and I'm not even sure that would happen, is Joe Biden. So you could give me all the numbers you want. I'm not looking at him because everybody said Hillary Clinton was going to win in 2016. Guess what? Hold on.
Okay. No,
hold on.
Respond to that.
I looked at those numbers in 2016, and then I had egg on my face because I believe them. And Hillary Clinton was a bad candidate.
Well, not just you. There were millions of people, more people
so stop
that
giving me numbers,
thought that
then.
Donald Trump was going to win, thought that Donald Trump was not going to win.
So stop giving me the numbers then, because they mean crap to me.
Well, no, we're before the election right now. We haven't had the election results.
I don't
So
care.
the numbers are something that we can make a viewpoint on.
I will make
you
a
can
bet.
even have a viewpoint on
I will
them.
make a bet
It
with
doesn't
you.
mean that they're not true or 100%
Fine.
true.
I will make a bet.
But you can absolutely make an observation on it.
I will make a bet with you right now.
So what you're saying? So Brian, this is what you're saying. You're saying that if Joe Biden is not the Democratic nominee for president,
Trump will
that
be
the
reelected.
Democrats will not win.
Correct.
That's what you're
100%.
saying. I think that's completely ridiculous.
Okay, well, I'll make
that's completely ridiculous.
bet you
I don't
that-
know how you can.
I will bet you whatever. I will bet you a caveman Keno machine right now that is exactly what is going to
we'll
happen.
See. Yeah.
Okay. And
We'll see.
there's a lot of different.
But look,
reasons for that.
it could be all for naught though, right, Brian? Because Joe Biden could end up being very well. And as of this point, I think should be considered, which is hilarious because we've been bantering back and forth for the past 3-4 weeks about how Joe Biden is dead. Anybody that's a Trump supporter or yourself,
I didn't count him out.
No, yeah, but Brian, come on, let's be intellectually honest here. There's a lot of people that listen to the station. There's JD, our co-host. There's others, yourself.
Where's JD, by the way?
I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people that had Joe Biden dead and buried just a matter of maybe 8 days ago. Okay, we're talking about how Biden was done. He should be out of the race. He's an old geezer who has no shot at all. And now, because Joe Biden wins in an absolute clear landslide in South Carolina, now he's been revived, and people are now in Trump supporters and Republicans and obviously Democrats, because Democrats are going to support whoever the Democratic candidate is, are saying, "Oh yeah, he's back. Here he is. Here's the Joe Biden that we thought we were going to see as we roll towards the Democratic National Convention."
Well, listen, you're not going to change my opinion, and this is my opinion, and that is that Joe Biden gives the Democrats the only chance to defeat Donald Trump, and I'm not even sure that's going to happen. But I do believe Biden can win those battleground states. I think he's the one guy to do it. I think Bernie Sanders is way too extreme, and you keep saying, well, he's not extreme, but in my personal opinion, free college for all is extreme. In my personal opinion, $15 an hour minimum wage
I think
is,
that he's
extreme.
definitely, Brian, he's definitely a left guy. He's definitely someone who, if you want to use the word extreme, he is. You're not going to find somebody that's running right now as a Democrat for the presidential nomination that is more, I guess, quote unquote, extreme than Bernie Sanders. But I just translate it into what it would be if he were president of the United States and what exactly would transpire in Washington, D.C. with him at the helm.
If you're just joining us, he's Chris Wynn. I'm Brian Shapiro. It is the Vegas Take on a Monday. We're talking about the big news yesterday, certainly in the political world, and that is Pete Buttigieg has dropped out of the race. We're giving reasons why he did it. What are the reasonings behind it? Is it just he wants to help his party, or was he promised something from Joe Biden and Barack Obama in a phone call over the weekend? That's what we're discussing coming up here at the bottom of the hour in about 7 or 8 minutes or so. We're going to speak to a man by the name of Carl Goldman. He has contracted the coronavirus on a cruise ship coming from Japan. He has been separated from his wife. He is now in Nebraska bedridden. He cannot see his wife.
He's been quarantined, basically, right, Brian? Is that what's happened here?
This is a serious situation, and we're going to talk to Carl Goldman coming up exclusively here at the bottom of the hour. Also coming up in hour number 2, and this is the hour where I would imagine you're going to want to chime in and call in regards to this subject. We talked last week about Donald Trump Jr. saying that the Democrats were hoping that millions of people died from the coronavirus. Millions. Saying that Democrats wanted millions of people to die. That's basically what he said, and we have the audio to prove it. Mike Pence was asked about that over the weekend, and he doubled down on those remarks, saying that they were understandable. Mike Pence is a bigger moron than Donald Trump. I can't believe I am saying that right now, but I am. It's incredible. And we'll try to squeeze in some phone calls on that coming up in hour number 2. But yeah, I mean, this is just unbelievable. We're going to get to that now. It's unbelievable. But as I mentioned earlier, Carl Goldman, a man who's what is the word I'm looking for here? I sound like Joe Biden. I'm stuttering right now. Contracted.
Yes.
Contracted the coronavirus. Thank you, Chris. He's going to be joining us coming up here in just a few minutes. We could sneak in a call or two at 257-5396. Who do you think is going to win? What do you think about Pete Buttigieg getting out of the presidential race? 257-5396. Got a couple minutes here, so I'll try to squeeze in a few phone calls. Why don't we go to Michelle? Michelle, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm a fairly new listener, just a couple of weeks, but Brian, I do like your personality, and that's why I continue to listen. We don't agree on hardly anything, but that's okay.
Michelle, why can't you get other women to say that as well? It really helped my dating
Michelle,
life.
yeah, there is a shortage of the fair sex out there that do not have the same frame of mind that you do when it comes to Brian.
Well, Michelle, I appreciate those kind words. Thank you so much. What's on your mind? What do you think about this?
I agree with you on this. The other Democrats should get out of the race and allow B and J to blow it out, fight it out.
Yep.
You like that? B and J blow it out. Anyway, yes.
That's good stuff.
Leave it to Biden and Bernie.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction right now, and I'm very, very good at making predictions.
Okay.
For most of my life, I'm good at it. So I'm going to say it's Joe Biden that will take it because Bernie, like you just said, is too extreme, and also health issues and his age. So I'm going to say it's Biden right here.
All right. Well, do you think Joe Biden will defeat Donald Trump?
No. I'm going to make my prediction that President Trump, unless something extreme happens with anything could happen between now and November.
Right.
That could affect national confidence in Trump.
Well, that's
look
true.
What's happening with the stock market lately, with the virus and all that. Anything could come up worldwide.
That is true. I mean, President Trump.
Well, it has come up already. He was impeached back in earlier this year. Obviously we have the coronavirus situation that we're getting a gauge on the Trump administration and how they're handling it. And it's not something that's going over positive, right? I mean, Americans aren't positive.
There is a possibility that Donald Trump could pay a woman hush money and have unprotected sex with her, with a porn star. That could happen again, right, Michelle?
I don't think that'll happen again. And I really, you mentioned that too many times. It's a little bit annoying. But it's okay.
Annoying.
You have to continually talk about the porn star and the sex. That's old news.
Then let me ask.
So
hold
it doesn't matter anymore.
Hold on, Chris.
Chris, saying?
Chris,
No,
hang on, Michelle.
it doesn't matter anymore.
Michelle,
No.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Michelle, then why is it that so many right-wing talk show hosts want to talk about Bill Clinton's sexcapades? Do you also have an issue with that?
I haven't heard them speaking on that matter.
I have.
Yeah.
I
have too.
Even the hosts that are on this radio station talked about Bill Clinton last week. Everybody on Fox News seems to talk about it on a weekly basis. They never get over Bill Clinton. And how about Donald Trump? When he was running against Hillary Clinton, he had 8 women in one of the debates that he brought that alleged that Bill Clinton had sex with them or sexually assaulted them. Would you say the same to Donald Trump?
Well, I'm just glad he was with women and not like howdy booty with a man and his knee pads and all that.
All right. I appreciate the call, Michelle.
Look, you can't get away with making ridiculously homophobic comments like that on the air, okay?
By the way,
you got to come stronger than that.
It was Michelle that made oral sex jokes to start this conversation. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
She's the one who made the oral sex jokes, and now she has a problem with Pete Buttigieg having sex with somebody, in this case, his husband.
No, she's making derogatory comments about people who are homosexual.
She took a page from the Rush Limbaugh playbook there. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the man who I'm losing the term again, Chris. The man who contracted. Thank you very much. The coronavirus. Carl Goldman off a cruise ship. He's going to be joining us next on the Vegas Take.